The sky turned an ominous shade of purple as the massive alien ships descended upon Earth. People around the world stared in disbelief, their mouths hanging open as the enormous vessels blocked out the sun. It was like nothing anyone had ever seen before. Not in real life, anyway. In New York City, Sarah Johnson clutched her phone tightly, watching the live news feed with wide eyes. The reporter's voice trembled as he described the scene unfolding above major cities across the globe. Sarah's heart raced as she realized this wasn't some elaborate hoax or movie promotion. This was real. Meanwhile, in a secret military bunker, General Mike Thompson barked orders at his staff. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he tried to coordinate a response to the unprecedented threat. "Get me the president on the line, now," he shouted, his voice echoing off the concrete walls. As panic spread across the Earth, the alien ships opened their massive bay doors. Strange, otherworldly creatures poured out, their bodies covered in shimmering scales and their eyes glowing an eerie green. They moved with incredible speed and precision, quickly overwhelming Earth's defenses. The human military fought back valiantly. Tanks rolled through city streets, firing at the invaders. Fighter jets screamed across the sky, launching missiles at the alien ships. But it was like throwing pebbles at a mountain. The aliens' technology was far beyond anything Earth had ever seen. In London, a group of soldiers huddled behind an overturned bus, their weapons feeling pathetically inadequate against the alien onslaught. Private James Cooper, barely out of his teens, gripped his rifle with shaking hands. "What are we supposed to do against that?" he whispered, watching an alien war machine crush a tank like it was made of paper. Back in the military bunker, General Thompson slammed his fist on the table. Every strategy, every weapon they had tried had failed miserably. The alien seemed unstoppable. He closed his eyes, feeling the weight of humanity's fate on his shoulders. Suddenly, the bunker's communication system crackled to life. A harsh, guttural voice filled the room, sending chills down everyone's spine. It was the alien commander, broadcasting on all frequencies. "Humans of Earth," the voice growled, its words translated by some unknown technology. "Your pathetic attempts at resistance amuse us. But now, it is time to end this game." The people in the bunker held their breath, fear gripping their hearts. "We have been merciful," the alien commander continued. "We have held back our true power, but no more. Now we will show you the futility of your struggle." General Thompson leaned forward, his knuckles white, as he gripped the edge of the table. "It is time," the alien voice boomed, "to unleash the beast." A collective gasp echoed through the bunker. What could be worse than what they had already faced? What horror could the aliens possibly have in store for them? Outside, the alien ships began to hum with energy. The very air seemed to vibrate with anticipation. Across the world, humans looked to the sky, their hearts filled with dread. In New York, Sarah Johnson huddled in her apartment, holding her cat close. In London, Private Cooper and his fellow soldiers steeled themselves for what they thought would be their last stand. The humming grew louder, reaching a fever pitch. Then, suddenly, it stopped. An eerie silence fell over the world. And then, from the largest alien ship, something began to descend. It was contained in a glowing, translucent sphere. As it neared the ground, people strained their eyes to see what terrifying creature the aliens had brought to destroy them. The sphere touched down in the middle of Times Square. The glowing field disappeared, revealing the aliens' secret weapon. For a moment, no one moved. No one spoke. They simply stared in utter confusion. Because there, sitting in the middle of the destruction and chaos, wagging its tail and looking around with bright, curious eyes, was a small, fluffy puppy. General Thompson blinked at the screen. Sure, he must be seeing things. "Is that a dog?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. As the puppy let out a cheerful woof, the alien commander's voice once again filled the airwaves. "Tremble, humans. The beast has been unleashed. Your doom is at hand." But all across the world, the response was the same. Confusion gave way to disbelief, and then, surprisingly, to hope. Because in the face of this unexpected beast, humanity had just one thought. What a cute pup! The world held its breath as the small puppy sat in Times Square, tail wagging and tongue lolling out. For a moment, the sounds of battle faded away, replaced by an almost comical silence. In the military bunker, General Thompson stared at the screen, his mouth hanging open. "Someone explain to me what the hell is going on," he demanded, his voice a mix of confusion and frustration. The alien commander's voice boomed across the airwaves again. "Humans, you dare to mock the beast. You have no idea of its power." As if on cue, the puppy let out a tiny, high-pitched bark. To everyone's astonishment, the sound waves from the bark visibly rippled through the air, shattering windows and causing the ground to shake. "Holy cow!" exclaimed Sarah Johnson from her New York apartment, watching the scene unfold on her TV. "That's one powerful pup." The puppy, seemingly unaware of the chaos it had caused, rolled onto its back, paws in the air, inviting someone to rub its belly. Back in London, Private James Cooper and his squad cautiously approached the puppy. "Be careful, lads," their sergeant warned. "It might look cute, but it just took out half a city block with a yap." As they got closer, the puppy's ears perked up. It rolled back onto its feet and bounded towards them, tail wagging furiously. The soldiers tensed, ready for another destructive bark. Instead, the puppy nuzzled against Cooper's leg, looking up at him with big, adoring eyes. "Well, I'll be," Cooper murmured, reaching down to pat the dog's head. As soon as his hand touched the soft fur, he felt a strange tingling sensation. "Guys," he said, his voice filled with wonder, "I think I can understand what it's thinking." The alien ships above began to buzz with activity. The commander's voice rang out again, this time filled with panic. "No. The beast is not meant to bond with inferior species. Retrieve it at once." Alien troops began to descend from the ships, their weapons aimed at Cooper and the puppy. But as they approached, the little dog turned to face them, its eyes narrowing. "Get down," Cooper yelled, diving for cover. The puppy opened its mouth and let out a growl that sounded more like a roar. A blast of energy erupted from its mouth, sending the alien troops flying backward. In the bunker, General Thompson leaned forward, his eyes wide. "Are you seeing this?" he asked his staff. "That dog just took out an entire alien squad." Scientists in the bunker scrambled to analyze the data coming in. "Sir," one of them called out, "we're detecting some kind of psychic link between the dog and humans it comes in contact with. It seems to be translating alien technology for them somehow." Meanwhile, Sarah Johnson had made her way to Times Square, drawn by an inexplicable urge to see the puppy up close. As she approached, the dog turned to her, its tail wagging. "Oh, aren't you the cutest little world destroyer?" she cooed, kneeling down to pet it. The moment she touched the puppy, her mind was flooded with images and information about the alien technology. "General Thompson," she called out, somehow knowing he could hear her, "I think I know how to operate their ships." Across the world, more people were drawn to the puppy, each touch granting them knowledge and abilities they never thought possible. The alien invasion force, once seemingly unstoppable, now found themselves on the defensive. In the alien mothership, the commander paced back and forth, his scales changing color with agitation. "How is this possible?" he growled. "The beast was supposed to be our ultimate weapon." His second-in-command approached cautiously. "Sir, it appears we misunderstood the nature of the beast. Its power seems to be in uniting and empowering the humans, not destroying them." The commander let out a roar of frustration. "Impossible. How could we have made such a miscalculation?" Back on Earth, the puppy, now nicknamed Beastie by the humans, continued to bound from person to person, its tail wagging happily as it spread knowledge and power. General Thompson watched the monitors in amazement as reports came in from around the world. Ordinary citizens were now operating alien technology, turning the invaders' own weapons against them. "Well, I'll be damned," he muttered, a smile spreading across his face. Humanity's best friend indeed. As the tide of battle began to turn, one thing became clear. The aliens had indeed unleashed a beast, but not the one they had expected. They had given humanity a gift, a bridge between species, and a weapon of unity rather than destruction. And it all came in the form of one very special, very cute pup. As chaos reigned across the globe, a young soldier named Alex Martinez found himself separated from his unit in the outskirts of Los Angeles. The sound of alien weapons and human screams filled the air, but Alex's attention was drawn to something else, a soft whimpering coming from a nearby alley. Cautiously, he approached the source of the sound, his rifle at the ready. As he turned the corner, he came face to face with the infamous beast, the small, fluffy puppy that had become the unexpected hero of Earth's resistance. "Hey there, little guy," Alex said softly, lowering his weapon. The puppy looked up at him with big, soulful eyes, its tail wagging hesitantly. "Are you lost too?" As Alex reached out to pet the puppy, he felt a strange, tingling sensation in his fingertips. Suddenly, his mind was flooded with images and information about the alien invaders. He gasped, stumbling back in surprise. "Whoa, so that's what everyone's been talking about," he muttered, shaking his head to clear it. The puppy tilted its head, looking at Alex curiously. Meanwhile, aboard the alien mothership, the commander paced back and forth, his scales flashing different colors in agitation. "How is this possible?" he growled. The beast was supposed to be unstoppable, not cuddly. His second-in-command, Zix, approached cautiously. "Sir, our scientists have a theory. It seems the beast's power adapts to the dominant emotions of the species it encounters. The human's response of affection and care has changed its purpose." The commander whirled around, his eyes glowing with fury. "Then we must reclaim it. Prepare a strike team. We will capture the beast and reset its programming." Back in the alley, Alex had sat down next to the puppy, who was now happily curled up in his lap. As he stroked its soft fur, more information flowed into his mind. He saw images of the aliens' home world, their society, and their technology. "You know, little guy," Alex said, scratching behind the puppy's ears, "I think I understand them a bit better now. They're not so different from us. Just scared, I guess, and maybe a little lonely." The puppy looked up at him and let out a small woof of agreement. Suddenly, its ears perked up, and it jumped to its feet, growling softly. "What is it, boy?" Alex asked, reaching for his rifle. Then he heard it, the low hum of an alien transport vehicle approaching. A sleek, silver craft descended at the end of the alley. The door slid open, revealing a group of heavily armed alien soldiers. At their head was a tall, imposing figure, the alien commander himself. "Human." The commander's voice boomed, translated by some unseen technology. "Step away from the beast. It belongs to us." Alex stood up slowly, placing himself between the puppy and the aliens. "I don't think so," he said, his voice surprisingly calm. "This little guy seems pretty happy right where he is." The commander's eyes narrowed. "You don't understand what you're dealing with, human. That creature has the power to destroy worlds." Alex looked down at the puppy, who was now hiding behind his legs, then back at the commander. "Maybe," he said, "but right now he's just scared and confused. Like all of us." To everyone's surprise, Alex set down his rifle and took a step forward, his hands raised in a gesture of peace. "Look, I've seen inside your minds, thanks to this little guy. I know you're not evil. You're just lost, like we are." The alien soldiers shifted uncomfortably, looking to their commander for guidance. The commander himself seemed taken aback by Alex's words. What are you suggesting, human?" the commander asked, his voice losing some of its harshness. Alex took another step forward. I'm suggesting we talk. Really talk. Not as enemies, but as two species trying to understand each other. What do you say we start over? He extended his hand towards the commander, a universal gesture of greeting. I'm Alex, and this, he said, gesturing to the puppy who had cautiously come out from behind him, is our friend. He's shown us that we're not so different after all. For a long moment, nobody moved. The fate of two species hung in the balance. Then, slowly, the alien commander lowered his weapon. He looked at Alex's outstretched hand, then at the puppy, who was now wagging its tail hopefully. Perhaps, the commander said slowly, we have indeed misunderstood the beast's purpose. And each other. As the commander reached out to shake Alex's hand, the puppy let out a joyful bark. In that moment, on a war-torn street in Los Angeles, the first true contact between humans and aliens began, all thanks to one very special, very cute pup. In the days following the unexpected first contact in Los Angeles, an uneasy truce settled over the world. Alien ships hovered silently in the sky, no longer attacking but not leaving either. Humans and aliens alike watched each other warily, unsure of what would happen next. At the center of it all was the puppy, now nicknamed Cosmos by Alex Martinez. The young soldier had become the unofficial ambassador between the two species, with Cosmos as his furry translator. One morning, Alex sat in a makeshift meeting room, Cosmos curled up at his feet. Across from him sat the alien commander, who had introduced himself as Zartok. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. So, Alex began, trying to sound casual. Your people came here looking for a new home, right? That's what Cosmos showed me. Zartok nodded, his scaled skin shimmering in the fluorescent light. Our world is dying. We thought Earth would be an easy conquest. We were mistaken. Cosmos lifted his head and let out a small whine. Both Alex and Zartok felt a wave of empathy wash over them, courtesy of the puppy's mysterious abilities. You know, Alex said, scratching Cosmos behind the ears, Earth's got its problems too. Climate change, overpopulation, resource depletion. Maybe we could help each other. Zartok's eyes widened in surprise. You would consider an alliance after we attack your world? Alex shrugged. Well, Cosmos here seems to think you're not all bad. And he's been right about everything so far. As if on cue, Cosmos stood up and trotted over to Zartok. The alien commander hesitated for a moment, then slowly reached out to pet the puppy. As soon as his hand touched Cosmos' fur, a look of wonder spread across his face. By the stars, Zartok whispered, I can see your world, your people, your hopes and fears. They're so much like our own. Meanwhile, in New York City, Sarah Johnson had become something of a local celebrity. Her ability to operate alien technology, thanks to her encounter with Cosmos, had made her invaluable to the human-alien cooperation efforts. She stood in Times Square, now a hub of interspecies activity, showing a group of curious aliens how to use a smartphone. See, she said, holding up the device. It's kind of like your neural networks, but way less advanced. One of the aliens, a young technician named Exile, peered at the phone in fascination. Primitive, yet ingenious, he marveled. Perhaps we could combine this with our quantum processors. As Sarah and Exile excitedly discussed the possibilities, a commotion near the edge of the square caught their attention. A group of human protesters had gathered, holding signs with slogans like Earth for Humans and Aliens Go Home. Sarah's heart sank. Despite the progress they'd made, fear and mistrust still ran deep on both sides. Back in the meeting room, Alex and Zartok were deep in discussion about potential cooperation when an aide burst in. Sir, he said, addressing Zartok, we're detecting unusual energy readings from the beast. I mean, Cosmos. All eyes turned to the puppy, who was now sitting in the center of the room, his eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Suddenly, a holographic projection appeared above him, showing scenes from across the globe. Humans and aliens working together, sharing knowledge, solving problems. It's beautiful, Alex breathed, watching as the images shifted and changed. Zartok nodded in agreement. It seems Cosmos is showing us what could be, a future of cooperation rather than conflict. As they watched, the projection zoomed out, showing Earth from space. But it wasn't alone. Other planets appeared, teeming with life and civilization. Are those? Alex began, his voice filled with awe. Other worlds. Zartok finished. Countless species, all connected. Is this what Cosmos has been trying to show us all along? The puppy barked happily, the sound echoing with a strange, cosmic resonance. In that moment, both human and alien realized that their encounter was just the beginning of something much, much bigger. As the projection faded, Alex and Zartok looked at each other, then down at Cosmos. The puppy wagged his tail, looking pleased with himself. Well, Alex said with a grin, looks like we got a lot of work to do. You up for it, Commander? Zartok's face split into what Alex assumed was a smile. Indeed. Alex Martinez, it seems our little beast has given us a new mission. As they left the room, Cosmos trotting happily between them, both knew that the real adventure was just beginning. The unlikely bond between a human, an alien, and a very special puppy was about to change the course of galactic history. As weeks passed, the unlikely alliance between humans and aliens grew stronger. Cosmos, the extraordinary puppy, continued to play a crucial role in bridging the gap between the two species. However, not everyone was happy with this new arrangement. In a hidden bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a group of human leaders gathered. General Thompson, his face grim, addressed the room. Ladies and gentlemen, while the rest of the world is playing nice with our would-be conquerors, we must remain vigilant. We can't trust these aliens, no matter how cute their secret weapon may be. Meanwhile, in New York City, Sarah Johnson was leading a team of humans and aliens in a groundbreaking project. They were attempting to combine Earth's internet infrastructure with alien quantum technology to create a new, faster-than-light communication system. Okay, everyone, Sarah said, her eyes shining with excitement. Let's give it another try. Hexile, are the quantum relays aligned? The alien technician nodded, his tentacles dancing over a holographic control panel. Affirmative, Sarah. We are ready to initiate the test. As they prepared to activate the system, Cosmos trotted into the lab, tail wagging. He sat down next to Sarah, looking up at her expectantly. Hey there, cutie, Sarah said, giving him a quick pat. Come to see our big moment. Suddenly, Cosmos' eyes began to glow. A soft, melodic whine escaped his throat, and everyone in the room felt a wave of something. It was as if a missing puzzle piece had just clicked into place in their minds. Wait, Sarah exclaimed. I think I know what we've been doing wrong. Exile, can you adjust the phase variance by 0.03? The alien looked confused but complied. As soon as he made the adjustment, the holographic displays lit up with a burst of data. It worked. Exile exclaimed. But how did you know? Sarah looked down at Cosmos, who was wagging his tail proudly. I think our little friend here gave us a nudge in the right direction. Across the globe, in Los Angeles, Alex Martinez and Commander Zartok were facing a different challenge. A group of human protesters had gathered outside the alien embassy, their angry shouts filling the air. Go back to your own planet, one man yelled, shaking his fist at the building. Alex stepped forward, his hands raised in a calming gesture. Please, everyone, just listen for a moment. I know you're scared and angry, but... His words were cut off by a chorus of boos. Zartok placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. Perhaps this was a mistake, the alien commander said softly. Maybe our peoples are too different after all. Just then, a small figure darted through the crowd. It was Cosmos, somehow having transported himself from New York to Leh in an instant. The puppy ran up to the angriest protester, a burly man with a human's first sign, and looked up at him with big, soulful eyes. The man's anger seemed to falter. He looked down at Cosmos, confusion written across his face. Slowly, hesitantly, he reached down to pet the puppy. As soon as his hand touched Cosmos' fur, the man gasped. His eyes widened, filling with tears. I can see," he whispered. "I can feel what they feel. They're just like us." One by one, Cosmos moved through the crowd. Each person he touched underwent a similar transformation, their anger melting away, replaced by understanding and empathy. Alex and Zartok watched in amazement as the protest dissolved, replaced by curious questions and tentative smiles. "Incredible," Zartok murmured. "The beast. Cosmos. He's not just translating our words. He's translating our hearts." Back in the secret bunker, General Thompson was about to order a covert strike against the alien mothership when an aide burst into the room. "Sir, you need to see this," the aide said, turning on a large screen. The screen showed scenes from around the world. The successful test of the new communication system in New York, the transformed protest in Los Angeles, and similar events unfolding across the globe. At the center of each scene was a small, fluffy puppy. General Thompson sank into his chair, his plans for resistance crumbling. "Well, I'll be damned," he muttered. "Looks like humanity's best friend just saved us all." As night fell, Cosmos appeared on the roof of the United Nations building in New York. He looked up at the stars, his eyes reflecting the cosmos he was named after. With a soft woof, he sent a pulse of energy into the sky. Across the galaxy, on countless worlds, other beings looked up, feeling a call they didn't yet understand. The adventure was just beginning, and Cosmos was ready to lead the way. As Earth and its new alien allies basked in their growing harmony, a shadow loomed on the horizon. Deep in space, a massive fleet of ships approached. The rest of the alien armada, unaware of the peace that had blossomed on Earth. In the newly established Intergalactic Command Center, alarms blared. Alex Martinez rushed in, Cosmos at his heels. Commander Zartok and Sarah Johnson were already there, their faces grim as they studied the holographic display. "It's the main invasion force," Zartok said, his voice heavy. "They don't know about our alliance. They're coming to conquer Earth." Sarah's fingers flew over the control panel. "Can't we contact them? Tell them what's happened?" Zartok shook his head. "Our long-range communications are still down from the initial attack. They're not expecting peaceful contact. They won't listen." Alex knelt down beside Cosmos, who whined softly. "What about you, boy? Can you reach them like you did with the protesters?" The puppy's eyes glowed briefly, but then he let out a sad whimper and shook his head. "Too far," Alex translated. "He can't reach them from here." The room fell silent as the gravity of the situation sank in. Earth's defenses, even combined with Zartok's forces, were no match for the incoming armada. Suddenly, General Thompson burst into the room. The old soldier had become an unlikely ally in recent weeks. "We've got a plan," he announced, "but it's risky as hell." As the general outlined the desperate strategy, faces around the room grew pale. It would require sending a small team, including Cosmos, on a suicide mission to the heart of the alien fleet. "It's the only way," Thompson concluded. "If we can get Cosmos close enough, he might be able to connect with them, show them the truth." Alex looked down at the puppy, who gazed back with understanding in his eyes. "I'll go," Alex said. "Cosmos trusts me. We can do this together." Sarah stepped forward. "I'm coming too. You'll need my expertise with the alien tech." Zartok nodded solemnly. "And I will join you. My presence may help convince my people." As the team prepared for their mission, the rest of Earth mobilized. Human and alien engineers worked feverishly to boost their defenses. Citizens around the world held their breath, watching the sky. The plan was simple, yet nearly impossible. Using a cloaked shuttle, the team would slip past the Armada's defenses and dock with the command ship. Then, they would fight their way to the bridge, giving Cosmos the chance to work his magic. As they boarded the shuttle, Alex knelt down next to Cosmos. "You ready for this, buddy?" he asked, scratching behind the puppy's ears. Cosmos let out a determined woof in response. The journey to the alien fleet was tense and silent. As they approached the massive command ship, Sarah whispered, "It's now or never." With a deep breath, Alex piloted the shuttle towards the docking bay. Alarms blared as they were detected, but it was too late. They were in. The next few minutes were chaos. Alien security forces swarmed the docking bay, weapons blazing. Alex, Sarah, and Zartok fought desperately, creating a path for Cosmos to run through. "Go, boy," Alex shouted as they neared the bridge. "Do your thing." Cosmos sprinted forward, dodging energy blasts and leaping over fallen aliens. With a final bound, he burst onto the bridge, startling the alien admiral. Before anyone could react, Cosmos' eyes began to glow with an intensity they had never seen before. A wave of energy pulsed out from the small puppy, enveloping the entire ship. On the bridge, aliens dropped their weapons, their eyes wide with wonder. Through Cosmos, they saw everything. The initial contact on Earth, the growing friendship between species, the hope for a peaceful future. The Admiral, tears in his eyes, turned to Alex and the others who had just fought their way onto the bridge. We had no idea," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Can you ever forgive us?" As the wave of understanding spread from ship to ship, the invasion fleet stood down. Earth, watching from afar, erupted in cheers as the threat dissipated. In the command ship's bridge, Alex scooped up Cosmos, who was wagging his tail tiredly but happily. "You did it, boy," he said, hugging the puppy close. "You saved us all." Sarah laughed, tears of joy and relief streaming down her face. Not bad for a cute little pawpaw. As humans and aliens embraced on the bridge, Cosmos let out a contented sigh. His mission wasn't over. It was just beginning. But for now, he was happy to have brought peace to his two-legged friends, both human and alien alike. 1 year had passed since the day Cosmos, the extraordinary puppy, had averted an intergalactic war. Earth had changed dramatically. Sleek alien structures now stood alongside human buildings, and people of both species mingled in the streets. In New York City's Central Park, a massive crowd had gathered. Humans and aliens alike stood side by side, all eyes focused on a small stage. Alex Martinez stepped up to the microphone, Cosmos cradled in his arms. Friends, neighbors, fellow Earthlings, both native and new, Alex began, his voice carrying across the hushed crowd. "We're here today to celebrate not just our survival, but the birth of a new era of peace and cooperation." Sarah Johnson and Zartok stood nearby, smiling proudly. In the front row, even General Thompson nodded approvingly, a small alien child perched on his shoulders. Alex continued, "1 year ago, we faced extinction. But thanks to this little guy," he raised Cosmos slightly, eliciting a chorus of awes from the crowd, "we found understanding instead of conflict, hope instead of fear." As Alex spoke, Cosmos' eyes began to glow softly. A gentle wave of warmth and unity washed over the gathering, bringing smiles to every face. "Today," Alex announced, "we unveil the Cosmos Memorial, not just a monument to the past, but a beacon for our future." He gestured to a large object covered by a sheet. Sarah stepped forward, pulling a lever. The sheet fell away, revealing a beautiful holographic statue. It showed a small puppy, its paws resting on a globe of the Earth. Around the globe, human and alien hands joined together. As the crowd watched, the hologram shifted, showing scenes from the past year, moments of cooperation, discovery, and friendship. Zartok took the microphone next. As the former commander of what was to be an invasion force, "I stand here humbled," he said, his translator conveying the emotion in his voice. "We came as conquerors, but thanks to Cosmos, we became friends, allies, and now fellow Earthlings." In the crowd, humans and aliens alike wiped away tears. The story of the invasion-turned alliance had become legend, a testament to the power of understanding and the unexpected wisdom found in a small furry package. As the ceremony continued, Cosmos wriggled out of Alex's arms and trotted to the edge of the stage. His eyes began to glow brighter than ever before. Suddenly, a beam of light shot from the puppy into the sky. The crowd gasped as the beam seemed to pierce the very fabric of space. For a moment, everyone could see through a window to other worlds, other civilizations, spread across the galaxy. Alex knelt beside Cosmos. "What is it, boy? What are you showing us?" Through their special bond, Alex understood. Cosmos was revealing their next great adventure. Earth and its new alien allies had a place waiting for them among the stars. As the vision faded, the crowd erupted in excited chatter. Scientists immediately began discussing the implications, while children, both human and alien, dreamed of exploring new worlds. Sarah joined Alex and Cosmos at the edge of the stage. "Looks like our little pup has big plans for us," she said with a grin. Alex nodded, scratching Cosmos behind the ears. "Yeah, but maybe we can take a little break first. I think we've all earned some downtime." Cosmos let out a happy woof of agreement, then yawned widely, showing off his decidedly unfearsome teeth. The crowd laughed, once again reminded that their galactic hero was, at heart, still a adorable puppy. As the sun set on the celebration, casting a warm glow over the gathered humans and aliens, there was a sense of infinite possibility in the air. The invasion that had threatened to end humanity had instead launched them into a new age of exploration and unity. And it had all started with a small, fluffy puppy that an alien commander had thought was a fearsome beast. Cosmos curled up contentedly in Alex's lap, tired from his big day. As Alex stroked his fur, he couldn't help but chuckle at the thought. "You know, boy," he said softly, "I think both sides were right about you. You are a beast of love, understanding, and hope, and you're definitely the cutest pup in the entire galaxy." Cosmos opened one eye, gave Alex a lick on the hand, then went back to sleep. He knew there were more adventures to come, more friends to make, and more worlds to explore. But for now, he was happy just being a good dog to his two-legged friends, both human and alien alike. As night fell and stars began to twinkle in the sky, the Earth dreamed of the future, a future brighter than anyone could have imagined, all thanks to one very special, very cute pup.